Okay, we rolling?
Yep.
All right. Imagine the scenario. There's a new president, and politically he's an unknown quantity. He's never been the mayor of a city, he's never governed a state, and a shockwave of anxiety ripples across the globe because people are concerned that this guy has the chops to do the job. Meanwhile, there's major trouble in Russia, a really dangerous situation unfolding. Now, if this story sounds like it's about Trump in the White House, it's not. This is a story about Harry Truman, and it's the summer of 1945. The Accidental President is an inspirational book about a regular guy, a person like you or me, who becomes the most powerful man in the history of the world by accident, and those are his words. It's the climactic months of World War II. Truman has no college degree. He never had the money to own his own home, and he's walking in the footsteps of FDR, the most prestigious man on the planet, into the Oval Office. Truman has no understanding of the inner workings of the White House and not much more understanding of the global picture than your average person who reads the Washington Post. Meanwhile, the President of the United States has no knowledge of the war's greatest secret, which is the atomic bomb. The thesis of the book then becomes this. The first 4 months of the Truman administration should be considered the most challenging and action-packed of any 4-month period in any American presidency to this day. The first 4 months of Truman's presidency saw the collapse of Nazi Germany, the founding of the United Nations, firebombings of Japanese cities that killed many thousands of civilians, the liberation of Nazi death camps, the suicide of Adolf Hitler, the assassination of Benito Mussolini, the capture of arch-Nazi war criminals. There was the fall of Berlin, victory at Okinawa, and the Potsdam Conference, during which the new president sat at the negotiating table with Winston Churchill and Joseph Stalin in Soviet-occupied Germany in an attempt to map out a new world. Humanity saw the first atomic explosion, the nuclear destruction of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the dawn of the Cold War, and the beginning of the nuclear arms race. What I love most about writing this book is the inspirational nature of the main character. You have to think of Truman following in the footsteps of FDR as the greatest underdog ever to step foot in the Oval Office. And yet, within 3.5 months of taking the presidential oath on April 12th, 1945 at 7:09 p.m., he unites the nation. 87% of Americans approved of the job that Truman was doing in the summer of 1945. 10% were undecided, 3% disapproved. 3% disapproved of the president. I want to read a quote here. This is from the Washington Post in 1945 in a story called "Whole Nation Reflects Era of Good Feeling Inspired by President." The mood of the United States is one of extraordinary friendliness. Americans appear to be more at ease with each other. They are more inclined to talk about national affairs, less inclined to argue. In short, there is a cordiality in the air that this country hasn't known in years. Can you imagine that America today? Don't you want to see that America again?